Welcome to Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea take on Manchester United in a vital game for Champions League football. Chelsea sitting in sixth on a really poor run at the moment. Manchester United not on the best run themselves, so it will be interesting to see which team can get back on to winning ways in the Premier League. Liam Rosenior with a big job to do, and a big win is needed for him, perhaps more than Michael Carrick's Manchester United, as they are more comfortably in the Champions League spots. But Chelsea playing a bit of catch up on 48 points there, with the rest of the pack behind them, and 4 points away from Liverpool in fifth, who play tomorrow. So Chelsea really needing a win here to put the pressure on those above, and we are about to get off and underway with Manchester United kicking us off from Bruno Fernandes, the league's top assister, playing it back to Lamens in goal. Now it's a real important game for both. Chelsea needing to stop the rot, as they have lost their last 3 Premier League matches, and Manchester United, well, they do have some defensive frailties, as they are having to rely on 19-year-old Aiden Heaven at the back, with Mazraoui in defence, as Harry Maguire is suspended, as well as Lisandro Martinez. Yoro's injured. So Rosenior and Chelsea will definitely have looked at that and will have had some optimism going into this game based on the defence that they will be coming up against, as Gusto is forced back to Sanchez in goal. Sanchez looks for Gusto again, who it does go behind, but he does get the ball. And it's now with Enzo Fernandez, who is back from his 2-match ban imposed by the club, and did miss that vital game against Manchester City, which saw his team lose quite comprehensively in the end, 3-0. As Cucurella takes the throw-in on the left-hand side for Chelsea. It is back with Manchester United though, and Mbeumo flicks it over to Fernandes. Fernandes looks to return the favour to Mbeumo, but it can't quite be executed. Here's Matheus Cunha. Michael Oliver trying to play advantage, as I think it was Dalot who did go down, holding his head off the ball. And I think play has been brought back, and it was Caicedo with perhaps a reckless lunge into the chest of Dalot. Not really with eyes on the ball there, Caicedo, so it is going to be brought back for a free kick to Man United, and it's in a position that Fernandes enjoys, that's for sure. On the right-hand side, about 35 yards away from goal. It's relatively central. I think Fernandes may have wanted it a little bit further wide, but we know who he may be looking for, and that is Casemiro. It's played in, and it is headed away by Chelsea. Fernandes, here's Mainoo back inside after picking up a knock, and that's a nice looking ball, headed away, and Gusto can come forward for Chelsea. Runs into the grass, plays it to Estevao. Estevao looks to reverse it back to Gusto, but it's won back, and Mainoo plays it coolly to Mbeumo, who's on the left-hand side here, and he's looked for Sesko, who's got there just inside the box up against Joel Harto. Mainoo, Fernandes, on to Dalot now on this right-hand side. Manchester United do look to be the side that have started the brightest, looking to control things out here in London. Aiden Heaven, a big game for him, with Luke Shaw at left back. Here's Mainoo, back to Shaw. Shaw goes long, aiming for Cunha. Cunha holding up Gusto, looking to turn, falling but not getting a foul, and Gusto comes away with it. And here's Hato. Fernandez sweeps it on to Badiashile. Here's Palmer now with his first involvement and his first few touches, it feels like, in this game, just under 5 minutes in. And that's a nice threaded ball from Palmer to Delap on the right. He looks to get past Heaven and does, but Heaven recovers really well and gets a lunging challenge in to play it out for a corner for Chelsea. But a first attack of promise for the home side. Delap, initially you thought he'd got past Heaven there, but Heaven did do really well to get back and make the challenge. Here's Palmer, looks to play it into the box, but it's headed away comfortably by Šeško. And it's back with Cucurella now for Chelsea, who goes back to Sanchez in goal. And Chelsea, well, they have struggled to score in front of goal in the last three. Just a bottle falling on the floor there. But as I was saying, Chelsea have struggled for goals in their last 3 games, not scoring, not finding the net in either of them, and that is pretty unprecedented. They haven't scored in 3 straight Premier League games before. The last time they didn't score in 3 straight Premier League games was March 1998. So it's been a while. And the last time they went 4 games here's Palmer. His pass is overhit and it's won back by United. Here's Fernandez onto Šeško. A bit of space, shoots, it's blocked by Fofana. That was a good hit from Šeško and had to be met by the Chelsea defence. Well, it was a near perfect start for Michael Carrick with 6 wins in his first 7, but the last 4 have been a bit trickier for Manchester United. They've lost 2 of their last 4 Premier League games with only 1 win in that time. Here's Enzo Fernandez, aiming long for Cole Palmer, but it's taken down nicely by Luke Shaw, and Lamans has to clear under pressure from Palmer. Hato. Enzo Fernandez. Across to Cucurella. Here's Neto. Clips it out to the right to find Estevao, who tries to keep it in with his head but couldn't quite. And he was asking Pedro Neto to play it a bit further ahead of him because he did have to backtrack to attempt to keep that ball in. So throw into Manchester United on the left-hand side. And they have already been 4 games today. Brentford drawing 0-0 with Fulham in the early kick-off. Leeds with a resounding 3-0 win against Wolves. They are all but safe now, you'd think. And Bournemouth with a late win over Newcastle. Another late goal conceded by the Toonami. A real dampener and a real poor end, it's looking like, to the season for Newcastle. And not long ago, Tottenham conceded a last-minute equaliser against Brighton to deny 3 points for them, and 3 points that would take them out of the relegation zone, but they still remain in 18th on 31 points. So a big result in the Premier League there, and the pressure is on the two teams, West Ham and Nottingham Forest, tomorrow. But here is Fernandes for Chelsea. Tries to thread it through to Palmer, who gets beyond a United player, goes down. Michael Oliver points the other way, though. And Palmer, with a grimace on his face, does look a bit uncomfortable. But it was a threaded through ball from Fernandes, which was half cut out by Mainoo, but it still bounced forward to Palmer. And it was a late challenge from Aidan Heaven. And he didn't get the ball, that's for sure. And, I mean, that's a clear foul. And that may have just been on the line. So there's a real decision to make for the referee and VAR here, because this could be a penalty for Chelsea. It looks like it's not going to be, though. Michael Oliver, the referee, waves it away, but that was an interesting action there, an interesting point of reference. It'd be interesting to see what the guys make of it at half time, because it looked a clear foul from Heaven on Palmer. But Chelsea winning the ball back once more. They're looking to get some momentum here. Palmer on to Estevao. Estevao cuts in, shoots, and it just goes wide. He's asking for a touch. Didn't look like Lammens got a touch on it. And it just clips the post rather than a touch from Lammens. A good effort from Estevao. Hato then plays it to Fofana inside their own box. And that's a bit loose from Chelsea, but they do just hook it away. But that's a poor pass from Shaw, and Chelsea could be in with Estevao. Trips a little bit, but keeps on his feet, and it's a poor shot in the end that's claimed by Lammens, but that's a moment Luke Shaw will be relieved to have not have resulted in a goal there, as it was a lapse of concentration almost, as he just tried to sweep the ball inside, but Delap met it, and that was a chance for Chelsea. But Estevao just losing his footing, and he stayed down actually, Estevao, which is not a good look for Chelsea. And I don't know whether his foot just got caught in the ground there as he was running through, and that just allowed Shaw to get back. But he doesn't seem to have recovered from that. Maybe stubbed his foot into the ground or stubbed his toe. And Alejandro Garnacho warming up for Chelsea just in case. Of course, formerly of Manchester United. So Estevao receiving treatment, and whilst his output hasn't been the best, he has shown real signs of promise and real potential, which is Chelsea's method, that's for sure. But Estevao did look a real promise when he first came to Chelsea, and it looked like he could stand out from the crowd. But maybe a bit of inconsistency with injury and having to go back to Brazil at one point for family matters. So it's been maybe a bit of an up and down season for him. Of course, it started well, him scoring against Liverpool to win the game. That was a big moment for him. But it does look like Garnacho is going to be coming on to the pitch. Rossinha giving him the last bits of instructions. Disappointment for Estevao as he does make way for Alejandro Garnacho. And he'll be hungry to prove a point, as he obviously didn't start the game for Chelsea. So a bit of a stoppage, but we are back underway. Fofana to Sanchez. Chelsea with possession at the back. Right. Was attempted to be pinched by United, but they end up conceding a foul. And Chelsea have only lost one of the last 12 Premier League games against Manchester United, and the last time the home team lost this fixture was in 2020, where Chelsea lost at Stamford Bridge to Manchester United. So this fixture often does favour the home side, or the home side certainly aren't used to losing these types of fixtures. But we do see a lot of draws, that's for sure. It's the most in the competition of any fixture. 27 draws in the Premier League between these two sides. But a draw won't really do for Chelsea, as they search to get back into that top 5. I mean, 6th may be enough, but they've got to rely on Aston Villa finishing 5th and winning the Europa League, because that's the only scenario now that can give 6th place the Champions League spots. And that's a good attack from Chelsea. Neto clipping it over to Garnacho into the box, but he couldn't quite reach it, Garnacho, and it's out for a goal kick to Manchester United. Just a little bit too much on that for Neto. Or maybe Garnacho thought that, but hence why he lunged for it, and it just, yeah, he could never get it under control. Aiden Heaven now for Manchester United. Big responsibility for him as he sidesteps Garnacho well, actually. Under pressure, wins a foul. That's good progressive work from Heaven. Here's Mainu for United. On to Casemiro. He's having a good swan song for United. 8 goals this season for him. As Fernandez's header only finds Pedro Neto, but he can't keep on to it, and Aiden Heaven plays it forward to Cunha. Cunha just about keeping it, and Luke Shaw plays it back to the goalkeeper. Chelsea looking to win the ball back here with the press, but it's cleared by Lamens. Sesko chests it down nicely to Fernandez. Here's Mbeumo. Cunha. Out to Mbeumo on this left-hand side. Mbeumo to Cunha inside. Casemiro. Mazraoui. A nice incisive pass to Cunha. Tried to play it forward further, but it's intercepted by Caicedo, and Chelsea can look to play it out, but Palmer is under pressure and he's in a deep position here for Chelsea. And it will be a throw-in deep in the home side's half. Garnacho leaves it for Gusto. And Heaven in a battle with Delap on the touchline. And it does end up with another throw-in for Chelsea. Or it will be a free kick, actually. Taken by Gusto. Here's Caicedo. Neto to Hato. Fofana across to Gusto. Gusto's pass intercepted by Cunha, but doesn't come with anything, and it will be a goal kick. Fernandez in dialogue with Mbeumo, I think, asking him to press a bit further forward and try and win that ball back. Sanchez plays it out to Gusto. Gusto to Garnacho. United really putting the press on here. Chelsea struggling to play out. Sanchez across to Cucurella, who heads it forward to Neto, who tries to head it back, but United win it back well. And it will be a free kick for the away side. Good press from Manchester United, who have perhaps started the game slightly better, although there's not much in it, really. There's not been any big chances as of yet. The game just a bit of a slow burner at the moment. So Dalot back up on his feet, as he's been involved in a couple of collisions to win his side a free kick. Fernandez can't quite beat Caicedo defending for Chelsea. Lamens to Mazraoui. Here's Fernandez in his own half, looking for a forward pass, as he always does. Always forward thinking is Bruno Fernandes. Fernandez to Casemiro, who have linked up really well, those two. 6 goals Fernandez has assisted to Casemiro. Fernandez can't hold on to it for United. Caicedo looking to turn. Cucurella. His pass is cut out. Fernandez wins it. Plays it through, aiming for Šeško. But Fofana shields the ball well. And it's out for a goal kick for the Blues. Gusto aiming for the lap, who takes it down, keeps on to it. Here's Garnacho now for Chelsea. Garnacho going at the defence with pace, Neto looks to play it inside, but it's cut out by Dalot. And United can look to break. Fernandez hooks it forward to Mbeumo, who's chasing that. And he's got some space here. Chelsea are a bit exposed. Mbeumo plays it back to Cunha, whose heavy touch forced him into a bad challenge on Hato. And the ref's gone to his pocket, and it's going to be a yellow card for the Brazilian. A great move from United on the counter, and it's a poor touch from Cunha, laid off on a plate from Mbeumo. But you think maybe Cunha just needs to hit it first time. Shaw loses his header, but it is going to be offside on Pedro Neto. Lamens. Casemiro. Onto Mbeumo. Heaven. Sure. Palmer picks it up for Chelsea. Neto. Fofana. Well, you'd hope for goals as this game goes on. Chelsea have conceded quite a few in their games. I mean, it was a 3-0 loss to Man City, a 3-0 loss to Everton in the league. And United, well, they've only kept one clean sheet in the last 21 away Premier League matches, so you'd think something would have to give at some point. And you perhaps get the feeling that it just takes just something to spark the game into life. As Dalot takes the throw. Palmer gets past the challenge of Casemiro. Palmer with a bit of nice trickery and wins a free kick right on the edge of the box. Aiden Heaven conceding the foul. Lovely from Palmer. And a clear foul. Perhaps too close to the edge of the box for Chelsea. But nonetheless, it's still a dangerous position. Enzo and Palmer in conversation. Can Chelsea get something from this? It's pretty central as well, just to the left. Doesn't really favour the left footer, really. So it's either Enzo Fernandez or Cole Palmer. Fernandez is looking the more likely. And it is Fernandez, and it hits the top of the United wall. Headed away only as far as Hato, though. Headed away again by Luke Shaw, though. Does well there. Cucurella. Fernandez drills it nicely into Palmer's feet. Palmer looks to turn, but it's won back by Shaw, who's done well defensively so far for Manchester United, and it's Chelsea who are having a phase with the ball now. Pedro Neto on the right now. Started the game on the left, did Pedro Neto, but because of Esteva's injury, he's now shifted to the right, and Garnacho has gone over to the left. Here's Fernandez with a bit of space, plays a through ball looking for Palmer, can't quite reach him. Cucurella challenging with Casemiro, and he wins it. Here's Caicedo onto Neto. Pedro Neto looking to cut in, goes back to the right. Here's Gusto to whip it in. Headed away by Mbeumo, out for a throw-in for Chelsea. Still in a dangerous position here. Garnacho. Back to Hato. Caicedo has to go back to the goalkeeper. Sanchez with the long kick, headed away by Dalot, but it finds Cucurella, who takes it down brilliantly, plays it through to Delap, who touches it inside, and it's good defending from Heaven, and it's out for another throw-in for Chelsea. Garnacho plays it inside to Fernandez, who looks to nutmeg Mazraoui. It falls to Fernandez, and he's put it just wide. The biggest chance of the game falls Enzo Fernandez's way, and it just whistles past the post. Couldn't quite nutmeg Mazraoui initially, but fought back to win the ball and had a clear shot on goal, and it just whistled wide. A big chance for Chelsea, and Enzo Fernandez will be frustrated with that. Rosenior was almost celebrating, but not to be. Fofana, Gusto, under pressure from Cunha. Gusto goes back to Sanchez, who does the wise thing and clears. And that gets Chelsea up the pitch, but it's a loose pass, but it's won back well by Fernandez, sliding in there to effect. It's a great effect. Here's Garnacho up against Dalot, and it's a good foot in there from the Portuguese fullback. Fernandez. Really big to have him back for Chelsea. He's a real influencer in that midfield. And he's got the joint most shots on target at the club with 27. And he's created the most chances for Chelsea. So a real big player for them. And we've already seen him play a lot of incisive balls through the lines. And he does have the most line-breaking passes in the Premier League with 41. Here's Palmer though, shrugs off Luke Shaw, but it's a good strong challenge from Casemiro and United can look to break here. Fernandes, here's Mbeumo. What can he do? Back in the starting 11 after their loss against Leeds, but that's a poor through ball. Not finding Cunha there. And Chelsea can look to break. There's a bit more space in this game now. It's a bit more end to end. Game starting to open up a little bit. Here's Garnacho. Cucurella. Back to Harto. Enzo. Plays it out wide to Gusto. Gusto crosses it in and it's claimed well by Lamens. Mbeumo. Up against Cucurella, plays it back to Dalot. Dalot headed away. Mainoo. Fernandes. Cucurella meets that ball attempted from Fernandes over the top and heads it clear. Chelsea dominating possession, doubling the completed passes. 65% possession for Chelsea so far in this game. They probably are edging things right now. But still, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0 at Stamford Bridge, 36 minutes in. Fernandes now. Here's Dalot. Back to Fernandes. Here's Mainoo. Casemiro. Heaven. Mainoo. Mainoo. Finds a nice pass to Dalot on the right. Dalot. Onto Fernandes. He whips it in, but it's cleared by Chelsea. Cucurella to Caicedo. Can Chelsea break now? They've got numbers here. Gusto gets past the halfway line. Neto's making an incisive run on the right, and he is found. Neto fakes to shoot, then shoots, and it's a good block from Heaven. Falls to Fernandes though, and he gets a shot away. It's palmed away by Lamens, but Palmer plays it in to Delap, but the flag is up. I'm not sure which player was offside. I think it may have been Palmer, as he played the ball across to Delap. Yeah, Palmer offside. After Lamens parried. So, Lamens blushes. Saved there, as it was maybe a bit of a soft save from Lamens. We couldn't keep on to it. Casemiro, the bounce of the ball just gets away from him, and here's Palmer once more for Chelsea. Chelsea in a good moment. Neto clips it in, Delap heading forward, and it's actually blocked by Enzo Fernandez, I think. But it's good play from Chelsea, and having Delap there really has given Chelsea an outlet and a target man to just get the ball forward quickly. But Harto picks up the first booking of the game. And just seemed to have tripped Mbeumo as he was running in to chase the ball. Fernandes. Sanchez punches. And it is a foul on the goalkeeper. And takes a bit of Casemiro as Sanchez punched that ball. So a few casualties, but both are back up and seem okay. So Sanchez takes the free kick, headed away. Enzo intercepts the ball well though. Here's Caicedo, can't quite get his pass away. And Cunha can win it back for United. Here's Mainu onto Casemiro. Fernandes takes over and plays it out to Mbeumo. Mbeumo looking to glide past the challenges. Mainu. Dalot. Mazraoui onto Mainu. And United did miss Mainu in the midfield on Monday night against Leeds. They just didn't quite have that creative abilities in the same way with Casemiro and Ugarte in that midfield. But Fofana has gone down here, and he was a player that was involved in that collision with Sanchez and Casemiro. So he's still feeling the effects of that and holding his shoulder. And the last thing Fofana needs is to be sidelined again. But he is still down at the moment. Well, that is good to see. Fofana is back up on his feet. Still holding his ribs, though. Still grimacing slightly. But don't think anyone is getting substituted or getting ready to be replacing him. Mainu. Mbeumo clips it over smartly to Fernandes. Fernandes up against his former teammate Garnacho, gets the better of him, crosses it in low, and it's fallen to Cunha, who puts United 1-0 up. A brilliant Manchester United goal. Another assist for Bruno Fernandes. And it's 1-0 United. A great finish from Cunha into the corner. And Chelsea's woes continue. Nice interchange between Mbeumo and Fernandes got the better of Garnacho, played it across, and Cunha was there about 8 yards out, and it was a bobbling ball, but he controlled it brilliantly to place it past Sanchez. And Bruno Fernandes is getting ever closer to that assist record held by Thierry Henry and Kevin De Bruyne. He's on 18 assists now, Fernandes. Needs 3 more to break that assist record. Work to do for Chelsea and Liam Rosenior. And just before the interval as well. Not an ideal time to concede, but it's never an ideal time to concede, especially if you're a Chelsea side that has lost more games in all competitions since the start of March than any other side in Europe's Big Six, Big Five leagues. Five minutes of additional time in this first half, so time for a Chelsea response, but the momentum is now with Manchester United, who have their tails up. And you can see just there's an instant increased sharpness and confidence about Manchester United now since that goal. As Cunha looks to take on Neto, but it is won back by Chelsea. And it is a side low on confidence. And low on scoring confidence too. Enzo Fernandez. Gusto plays it through to Palmer nicely. Palmer up against Heaven on the right hand side. Clips it back to Gusto. Gusto drives forward. Plays it into the box, and Dalot didn't really know what to do with that, but did enough and just played it out for a corner kick. It was a tricky one to deal with, but he just let it hit him and go out into a safe place. Palmer. Corner is taken short. Gusto clips it over, and Fofana can't quite reach that. So United into third as it stands, or staying in third rather, as it stands, because of their superior goal difference to Aston Villa. But now by 3 points they are ahead of them. But Chelsea in a spot of bother, as they're not closing that gap, and they need to if they're going to get top 5. And that's a free kick for Chelsea. A bit too physical from Mazraoui on Delap, I think. Yeah. A clear foul there, really. Had his hands all over Delap. Just giving him a big bear hug. Neto did clip it in, but Casemiro's down, so we're going to do that over again. So take 2 for Chelsea. As we enter the last minute of stoppage time in this first half, United with the lead. Can Chelsea do something about that? Headed away. Here's Palmer. Gusto. And Gusto's pass is poor, and it's out for a throw-in, and that's symptomatic of Chelsea's first half. And already in this first half, it's been much better from United compared to their last game against Leeds. A lot more energy, a lot more sharpness. And that is half time. So a game that started slowly, started to open up. Manchester United were the side to get in front just before the break. Matheus Cunha finding the net after Bruno Fernandes, playing it across and getting another assist to put him on to 18 now in the Premier League. Chelsea with work to do at half time at Stamford Bridge. It's Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. Welcome back. So no changes for either side at that half-time interval. But Manchester United will be the happier team going into this second half, and Chelsea, they'll just need to do a bit more. They'll need to do a bit more. They've not really been able to create many chances. They had that one big chance with Enzo Fernandez. But United on the front foot in this second half already, kicking off from where they left off in that first half, and Fernandez at the forefront of it again. So what would Liam Rosenior have said to his players at half time? Well, he's having a word with the referee. Not sure what he's chatting to him about, but it'll be a disappointed Liam Rosenior so far, and he'll be disappointed that his side haven't been able to really get a proper grip of this game. And it's a poor pass from Enzo Fernandez that puts it out for a throw-in, and that's just really poor from Chelsea. Really poor. Just easy possession in their own half and a poor pass, but they are away here. Here's Gusto onto Neto. Does go back though to the fullback. And it's just a performance of low confidence. The passes haven't been crisp, they haven't been accurate enough, but that's a nice looking ball to Cucurella, but it just does have a bit too much on it, and Lamens can claim. But there's been quite a few misplaced passes from Chelsea that haven't gone into the accurate and desired place. But Manchester United, they'll be pleased enough with that first half showing. As they're leading 1-0. And Mbeumo flicks it over, aiming for Cunha, up against Fofana, who heads it forward. Enzo Fernandez looks to flick it towards Garnacho, and that's going to be a foul on Garnacho. And Mbeumo conceding the foul. Neto up against Shaw. Shaw doing well, being resolute at left back, and he has had a really good first half, did Luke Shaw. He made that one error that could have been costly but wasn't, but other than that, He's won every header, won every duel. Lamons across to Heaven. Lamons rather shanks it clear and Chelsea can pick up the loose ball. Cucurella has to go back to Harter when that's a heavy pass and it's forced Chelsea back and it's not looking good. The early signs are not looking good for Chelsea. They've not really responded, and whatever Rossini said to them at half-time doesn't seem to have worked, as there's not really been any lift for Chelsea, and that's a ball that goes behind Neto, but Caicedo's shot takes a deflection and it's out for a corner for Chelsea. They need something to Chelsea just to lift them, just to give them a little spark, because it's been a disappointing start. As even that pass from Fernandes wasn't aimed for Caicedo. And that corner is poor and can't beat the first man, and it's Mbeumo to lead the charge for United. Dalot bringing up an attacking position here. Cunha backheeled it nicely to Fernandes. Shaw's on the overlap. Fernandes shoots and goes wide. Apologises to Luke Shaw because he knows he had to score that, otherwise Shaw would have been annoyed with that. But Fernandes, with the confidence that he's playing with, you can't really blame him for having a go there. Was on his weaker side and was always going wide. Fernandes comes up to hit the ball. It's going to be a throw-in for Chelsea in an attacking position. On the right, it's thrown into Delap, who looks to hold it up. Casemiro coming in to help there and does well. Fernandes, lovely pass to Šeško outside the foot. And now it's with Cunha up against two Chelsea players. Cunha wins a throw-in. It's back with Mainoo, who then goes back to Luke Shaw. United with a real confidence and control about how they're playing right now. And Mainoo being back in the team will definitely have helped that. And that's a short pass from Mainoo. Here's Fernandes. Cunha looking to shoot. Shooting and it's blocked. And that's a foul from Cunha in the end on Caicedo. So it's going to be a free kick for Chelsea. Just went into the back of Caicedo there, did Cunha. He's on a yellow card, don't forget, as well, so he's got to be careful. Wouldn't be surprised if he came off at some point in this game. That goal for Cunha, his 8th of the season in the Premier League. Enzo Fernandez now. Looks to flick it forward to Cucurella, but it goes past him. It's kept in by Garnacho though. And he's played it to Enzo Fernandez, who will play it in low. And it's cleared comfortably by United. And Mbeumo chasing that ball, but Caicedo is there and plays it back to Sanchez, who will go long, and that goes out for a throw-in for Manchester United. Garnacho now up against Dalot. Here's Cucurella. His cross is blocked, but Garnacho picks up the ball again. Here's Hato. Gusto to Neto with a bit of space to cross, and he does cross, and it's flicked on by Delap, and it hits the bar. Big chance for Chelsea. Need more of that as Neto flicks it forward to Delap, who takes it down brilliantly. Delap, what can he do? Looks to get a shot away and does, and it's blocked, and it's out for a corner for Chelsea, and that's a lot better from them. As the first chance is a well-engineered header from Delap, actually, just the back of his head to direct it goalwards, but it did hit the bar. And then the shot from Delap was blocked, and the corner is whipped in, and it's headed away by Casemiro right in the centre of the box. And Cunha can look to break for United. Palmer chasing back, as is Gusto, and they do win the ball back. That is better from Chelsea. Can they maintain this and get a goal in this period? Here's Palmer. Just gets the ball caught under his feet, but still has it. Plays it back to Fernandes. Garnacho now. Garnacho, Enzo Fernandez. Here's Palmer on the left. Garnacho has to go back to Hato. Hato inside to Gusto. Here's Fofana. Fofana out to Neto. Here's Hato. Hato strides forward well. Plays it to Garnacho. He's forced slightly wider, Garnacho, towards the corner flag, but does go back to Palmer outside the foot pass to Hato. Hato looked to return the favour to Palmer, but it's cut out by United, and Mbeumo, with a bit of skill, looks to break away from Cucurella, but it's well defended in the end by Chelsea. And this is better from the home side, winning the ball back, keeping this momentum going. Can they create some more chances that could potentially turn to goal? Here's Gusto on the right, crosses it in, it's cleared by Heaven and then by Shaw, but it's back with Chelsea and Fofana. Here's Neto. Fernandes, Cucurella. Here's Garnacho. Enzo, lovely move inside, but Mainoo does well for United. And here's Mbeumo. Out to Fernandes on the left. And United just look to slow things down here, which I'm not sure is a good tactic, to be honest, because you're only 1-0 up. And you know there's going to be space, so you're going to want to try and kill the game off if you can and kill Chelsea's momentum as Dalot looks to whip a ball in. Heaven goes long, aiming for Šeško, but the ball's met by Fofana, but it falls to Cunha. Could be a chance here for United. Cunha, Fernandes tried to reverse it back to Cunha, but it was too far away from him, and Chelsea can pick it up and can look to break. Here's Neto. Lays it off to Gusto, Neto, flick, back to Gusto, back to Neto. Maybe one too many because United have won it back here. Mainoo, Fernandes. Cunha. Casemiro looked to thread it through to Šeško, but it's won back by Chelsea. Garnacho winning the free kick. Fernandes onto Delap in the box. Delap holding it up. Enzo Fernandez. Palmer crowded out. Has to go back. Here's Neto. Gusto drills it in. Palmer with the first time volley. Goes comfortably wide in the end. A difficult effort, but another chance for Chelsea. Rosenior will be pleased with the improvement in the last 5 or 10 minutes from Chelsea. And Cucurella's cut that ball from Mazraoui out, and it's back with Chelsea now in an advanced position. Here's Neto. Garnacho. Hato. Garnacho, United with bodies back here. And Mainoo up against Garnacho, shielding the ball and playing a nice triangle there, United. And Mbeumo. Šeško can't quite get onto that pass, and Caicedo can play it back to Sanchez. So we're past the hour mark still. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1. Chelsea hadn't scored in their last 3 Premier League games. And are facing bad territory if they can't score again here. Hato. Gusto onto Palmer. Palmer looks to clip it in, but it's won back by United. Fernandes can lead the charge. And we know how dangerous United can be on the counter, so this game is really set up well for them. Šeško beats Caicedo with ease. Fernandes tries to find Casemiro, and it takes a deflection, and Sanchez has to force it behind for a corner to Manchester United. And that is the danger, that is the threat when Chelsea put players forward looking for that second goal. United can cause problems up the other end. And that was a nasty deflection as Bruno Fernandes just tried to play it through to Casemiro, and it deflected dangerously, and that might have been creeping in, so Sanchez did well to get down. And Enzo Fernandez is down. I'm not sure why, but he is back up now. Must have been a nudge from Luke Shaw before the corner had been taken. Still at it, Shaw and Fernandes. It's crossed in and it's headed away. And as far as Mazraoui, who heads it back towards goal. It's back with Mazraoui. Here's Mbeumo. Mbeumo looks to get past Palmer, cleared by Cucurella. Hato. Garnacho back to Hato, who keeps it in. Hato. Here's Enzo Fernandez. His touch was a bit heavy, but he still gets it across to Pedro Neto. The switch is on if he can find Cucurella, but it's a poor pass. And Mazraoui can clear But his clearance finds Garnacho. Looks to turn. Plays it to Pedro Neto. Lovely first touch and shoots. And it's out for a corner for Chelsea. That's better. More menacing. Lovely first touch from Neto to set the shot up for him on the volley. And that corner is taken short and quickly. Here's Cucurella inside the box, and it's well defended by Fernandez to block that throw, to block that cross. It's played short again from Chelsea. Palmer back to Fernandez. It's a looping ball in, headed forward and then cleared by United. Appeals for handball, but nothing given. Michael Oliver describing what he saw not to be a handball. Neto. Crossing again. It's a lovely looking ball and it's hit the bar again. And Michael Oliver had his whistle in his mouth but never blew and played the advantage. Not sure exactly what that was for, but another chance for Chelsea. And another crossbar hit. So back with United now. Mainoo's found well by Heaven, and that's a lovely bit of footwork from Mainoo to glide past the Chelsea players. Here's Fernandez. He whips it in. It's headed away by Cucurella. Garnacho now can lead the break for Chelsea. But he's lost out there to Casemiro. And United have it back here. And Chelsea haven't gone 4 games. Chelsea haven't lost 4 games in a row without scoring since 1998. Before all the money was involved, before their lucrative takeover. So this would be a real blow and a real sign of how much they've struggled in recent times. But still, over 20 minutes to go in this one. And they have caused some problems when they've crossed it in. As it was Fofana this time hitting the crossbar. And it was a joint between, I think, Fofana and Mazraoui. But may have been a handball in there. Maybe that was why Michael Oliver nearly blew for a free kick, but played advantage. Casemiro tried to play it through, but it's intercepted. Here's Garnacho, gets past Fernandez well. Garnacho looks across, it's cleared by Luke Shaw. Gusto. Palmer. Gusto. Delap. And that's going to be a free kick. Cucurella down. Mazraoui with the loose challenge. And a free kick in a similar area to where they had it in the first half, but maybe just a little bit more favourable. Bit further out this time. Still relatively close, just about 23, 24 yards away from goal. So the same two over this again, Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer. Over this for Chelsea. Can they spark a bit of magic into their team and get their side back on level terms? It's going to be Cole Palmer, and it's hit the wall. A poor free kick, really. Pedro Neto. Gusto. Caicedo. Cucurella is down for Chelsea. Play resumes. Neto. Fernandez. Neto shooting, and it's blocked, and it's over for a corner. Crossed in, flicked on. Garnacho with the volley, headed away. Caicedo. Up against Dalot. Shielding the ball. Caicedo does well. Here's Pedro Neto. Gusto now with the cross. Headed forward by Fofana, but it's high and it's just looped and fallen into the hands of Simon Lamans. João Pedro looking on, wishing that he could have been involved, as he probably thinks he could have had a real impact on this game. Garnacho looking to shoot, and it's blocked by United. Šeško now. He's been a bit quiet in this game, not had too much involvement, but has been a decent outlet for United just to get the ball forward. And it is almost a bit of a throwback in this game, in the sense that both sides have two target men to get the ball up to. Here's Garnacho. Garnacho. Fofana. Gusto. Beaten to it by two United players. Heaven back to Mainoo, and then Mainoo clears. Fofana meets it, but Heaven's back in there to play it forward. Can Chelsea get this equaliser? 15 minutes or so left in this one. Hato. Forced back by United. Caicedo has to go back to the goalkeeper. Fofana. Gusto. Fofana. Chelsea just struggling to create clear-cut chances in this game. They can't seem to put many patterns together, but that's a nice looking ball into the box. Falls to Garnacho, who looks to do the acrobatics, but doesn't get enough contact, and a United player does go down from the high boots of Garnacho, I think, and United do get a free kick. And it was the acrobatics of Cucurella looking for the overhead kick and ended up kicking Mazraoui in the process. But that was a good looking ball in from Gusto, but just no Chelsea player could really get a hold of the ball and do anything with it, really. So Lamans with the goal kick for Manchester United, who still lead 1-0 at Stamford Bridge. And as it stands, this would be the first time since 2020 that the away side in this fixture have come out victorious. But here's Chelsea on the ball with Palmer. Good tackle from Kobbie Mainoo to win the ball back for his team. Fernandes plays it to Šeško, who heads it back, but it's won back by Chelsea. But Shaw intercepts the Fernandes pass well. Mainoo. Fernandes. Shaw. United looking to calm things down and just take the pace off a little bit. But Fernandes can lead the counter for United. Here's Mbeumo. Up against Hato, and that's a good tackle from Hato. Needed to be as well. Up against Mbeumo, one-on-one, but that's brilliant defending. Well, now Chelsea can look to break. Here's Palmer. On to Neto. Neto ignores the overlapping run from Gusto, then plays it to Gusto, who drills it in. It's headed away by Casemiro. Neto. Up against Mainoo. Here's Cucurella. On to Garnacho. Rips it in, headed away by Dalot, and that's just been the story of Chelsea's game, really. Their only plan has been to get it out to one of the wide players and to cross it in. That's the only bit of... They've not really had any imagination, any other bit of creativity. All they've done is just cross it into the box, which can be effective, but if you're Chelsea, you'd want to find other patterns of play. We will have a couple of substitutions for United. And it is going to be Cunha who will make way. Currently the match winner with that goal just before the half-time whistle. And he's got a big smile on his face as Mason Mount makes an appearance at Stamford Bridge as he returns from injury. And Ahmad also comes on for Benjamin Šeško. A change for Chelsea. Achampong comes on for Malu Gusto. And it's not really going to give you any more attacking potential, is it, if you're Chelsea? Also, Fofana comes off for Chalobah. So, interesting substitutions there from Chelsea, considering they're in need of a goal. But they do have their best attackers all on the pitch. And when you've got Pedro Neto, who's out injured, it's a bit of a difficult situation, which is strange when you think of, the amount of players they've bought, but yet their bench still seems relatively weak. No real attacking forces there on the bench for Chelsea. Fernandes clips it over to Mount with his first involvement. Boos from the Chelsea supporters, as you'd imagine. Here's Šeško now, or Dalot rather, plays it into the box. Caicedo, Chelsea just about dealing with it. Here's Hato looking to charge forward, plays it to Garnacho. A bit of space here for Chelsea. Garnacho up against Dalot, up against Mazraoui, and that's a late challenge from Mazraoui. Could be a penalty. It's going to be a corner for now, but it didn't look the cleanest of challenges from Mazraoui. Although, no, he does get the ball and it is a good challenge. It just looked a bit messy, the last part of that challenge, but that's a good challenge from Mazraoui. And it will be a corner, or a goal kick actually, the perfect challenge from Mazraoui. And it's been a brilliant defensive performance from United so far, considering they have been without two of their most experienced centre-backs in Maguire and Martinez. It's been a real makeshift centre-back partnership, and they've still performed well, even with a four at the back. You think of back to when Amorim was in charge and he had that five at the back system. Amorim clearly feeling that the team needed to be a five at the back because the defenders weren't good enough to play in a two. But these players are proving him wrong, that's for sure, as they're doing a really good job. Enzo Fernandez onto Caicedo. Chelsea running out of time. Caicedo going for goal and it just goes wide. We know he's got that in him, Caicedo. And he nearly scored another screamer. That was travelling. Hit the safety steward on the way. And that was so close. Whiskers away. Chalobah, with his first involvement, plays it to Achampong, also newly introduced. Enzo Fernandez drills it into Palmer. Caicedo out wide to Pedro Neto. Clips it into the box. Falls to Garnacho. Palmer takes a couple of touches, shoots, and it's blocked by Amad. Chalobah can't control it, and United can clear. Amad. Can he get past a couple of Chelsea players? He nearly did, but Hato does well, shows good composure. And Enzo Fernandez is down in some pain, actually. And Enzo is actually asking to be replaced here. Well, Man United have a replacement, and it is Joshua Zirkzee, who comes on for Bryan Mbeumo to see the game out here, and Enzo Fernandez also making way for Lavia. Another defensive substitution, and it's, I mean, you almost can't help that because there aren't really any improvements on the bench in an attacking sense for Chelsea, but that's a really desperate situation when you've spent all that money and you still end up short. Caicedo. Chelsea closing in on a fourth consecutive defeat without scoring, a feat which they haven't reached since 1998. And if they want to change that, they're going to have to act quickly. Here's Palmer, nice turn. Out to Garnacho, tries to do a back heel to Palmer, but it just does not get executed correctly. Zirkzee wins it back for United. Amad running through, and Michael Oliver has to stop play here. I'm not sure why exactly. Mount now for United. Casemiro onto Amad. Can United finish this game off once and for all? Chalobah wins it. Nutmegs Fernandez, and Chelsea can look to break. Achampong. Palmer. Getting closed down by Mainu. Frustration for Chelsea. It's a nice switch in the end to Garnacho. But what comes next? It's a poor pass from Garnacho, and it's won back by United. It's just not been good enough from Chelsea. As that's a foul on Fernandez by Hato. And Rossinha, he's not giving much away with his facial expressions, but you will know that there'll be a lot of disappointment at the moment as he sees his side struggle to find the back of the net again. Garnacho now for United. Caicedo. Oh, it's good defending again from Mainu. He's been fantastic in this game. Mainu gets it again from Fernandez. And then plays it back to Heaven. Mainu. Onto Mount. Played inside to Casemiro. Fernandez looked to play the through ball to Zirkzee. Still with Mainu. And Manchester United, here's Luke Shaw now. And that's a yellow card shown for Mount, who just lashed the ball clear after the ref had blown his whistle for a free kick. Chalobah. Neto finds a pass to Palmer, but it's just got too much on it and it's going to be a goal kick. The Manchester United away supporters in full voice now, as they know the 3 points are getting closer and don't really look to be in any doubt. I don't want to jinx things, but it's not looking likely for Chelsea. As they've not really shown any threat, really, as Hato comes forward. Here's Achiampong. Defended well again by United. It will be a free kick for Chelsea, I think. It's going to be a handball. Handball on Mason Mount, who has recently been booked. So, one last chance from a set-piece situation, perhaps for Chelsea. Pedro Neto. Clips it in. It's a decent ball, but it's headed away. Garnacho gets past Ahmad and Mainoo. Mainoo brings him down. It's going to be another free kick, this time on the opposite end from the left-hand side, and Mainoo does pick up a yellow card for that foul. So it's on the left-hand side now. Pedro Neto has come over to take, and the keeper's up for Chelsea. They know this could be quite possibly their last chance. Neto clips it in. Sanchez nearly got there. Neto. Garnacho plays it forward. Xerxes. And United can look to clear, but that will be the full-time whistle. And Manchester United get back to winning ways after their 2-1 defeat against Leeds on Monday. But as for Chelsea, it's another miserable day. Another day without a goal, and that's 4 losses in a row without scoring. The last time they did that, 1998. That shows the significance of Chelsea's struggles at this stage of the season. Manchester United's only goal, and the only goal of the game, came from Matheus Cunha. Fernandes getting his 18th assist in the Premier League, laying it on a plate to Cunha to make it 1-0 just before half-time. And Chelsea couldn't get the goal, and they never really looked that likely. They hit the bar a couple of times from crosses into the box, but other than that, I can't remember Lamans making a single save. It's a miserable night for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Manchester United solidify themselves in 3rd place. They're looking a certainty for Champions League football. Chelsea, not so much. Full time at Stamford Bridge, it's finished Chelsea 0, Manchester United 1.